morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Can't wait to get started with this Motivation and Mindset Monday. Today, we're going to be revisiting the 12-week year and actually providing you a complete guide for this coming year to personal growth. So one of my favorite things to do is explain this concept as how to get more out of the next 12 months than you ever have in your life. So basically, the way that I like to look at a full 12-month calendar is to break it up into 12-week segments. So we get essentially 4 12-week segments per year with a week break or so in between each quarter. Now, here's the nice thing. If you follow this guide, you will get 4 times the amount done that you do in a typical year. There's no doubt about that. I've taken so many people through the 12-week guide, a 12-week year before, that I know it to work and I know it will work for you. Now, I started using this, call it 15 years ago or so, somewhere around 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. And that is because I opened my first location in 2007 and everything was chaos all the time. And I was basically trying to do too much and not getting anything really done. So although I would move forward, it was a bit haphazard because I just tried to do too many things at the same time. I began to realize that what really mattered was to focus on the critical few things in your life that move the needle the most. So at this moment in your life, you need to think about, okay, there's a million things that I could do. What are the few that if I do those, I get exponentially happier or more successful in what I call the big 5 areas of life, which is your overall health, your body, that thing that moves you through life, right? That's really important as well. Your relationship, your career or relationships, I should say, with family, friends, community, spouse, etc. But also your career / purpose, like wherever you want to look at that, as well as spirituality. And so those are the areas that we need to look at. Now, here's the problem. If we set goals in all of those areas all of the time, there ends up being not enough day in order to get everything done. So what I've looked at over the years, because I used to say set a goal for each of those areas, and I don't think that that's a bad idea. But what I've realized is that people are so busy, myself included, that we need to trim that down even a little bit more. And so what I've kind of realized talking with a lot of individual clients is that I need you to come up with what I call an 1A goal. It is the goal that if you accomplish that one thing over this next year, it would be a successful year. So I want you to think about what popped into your head right away. What popped in your head immediately when I said, if you can only accomplish one thing over this next year, what would it be? And start to think about that. That is your 1A goal. Now, other things might start to crowd that thought out. Okay, those are going to be level 2 or 3 goals. So you can have a 2A, 2B, 2C, right? So you might have one main goal, and then there's 3 others that are just as important as each other. Or maybe there's a 1A, there's a 2A, 2B, and call it a 3A goal, like it's a level 3, right? And then there's not enough room for more goals after that. Now, you can have more goals, but if they're going to require full effort, then they can't be part of your 12-week year. Because what we're going to do right now is I'm going to give you a few examples. We're going to take 1 or 2 big goals, and I'm going to show you how we don't have to be overwhelmed by big goals, that we can chunk them down into manageable bites that we can do on a quarterly, monthly, weekly, and then daily basis. So if you have small goals, things like they might only take a couple hours to complete, that doesn't necessarily have to be on your big world view of this next year. Those are things that should be on your to-do list to just get done, meaning like you need to just bang that out, wake up early one Saturday or Sunday, and just get done whatever that 2 to 3 hour project is. Maybe it's like, okay, I gotta apply the kids to all new schools. Okay, wake up early, help with those essays, do those things, whatever it needs to be. So if it's a one-time event, that's not a goal. That's not really what I'm talking about. Now, it is a goal to complete that, obviously, but it's a to-do. That's not a reoccurring one. Let me give you a couple examples, and then I'm going to bring it full circle. But remember, start to think bigger because you can accomplish an enormous amount in 1 year. But the flip side is that most people think they have an enormous amount of time in order to be able to accomplish that goal. So when I show you one of my first goals, again, not mine personally, but all the time what I hear in my practice, people wait until September, October. They're like, oh, the year's almost up. I might as well start on my goal. That's what we want. We just missed 3/4 of the year. We missed 12 weeks a year. And that is why most people just accomplish the same amount every single year. So let's get after it right now. So one of the most common goals for the new year is weight loss. I'm going to give you a couple different examples, but most common is weight loss. And let's say that, you know what, You don't want to really admit it, but yeah, you've got maybe 60, 70, call it 72 pounds exact for how much weight you want to lose. So when you look at 72 pounds, you're like, that's a big goal, right? Like, let's say you weigh 260 pounds or so, and you're like, you know what? I should really get down to somewhere around 180, 190 or so pounds, like whatever it might be. Totally fine. Like it's a great goal to have. But when it's 72 pounds, it seems enormous. It just seems like this is a lot of weight to lose. How am I going to do that? I've tried before. It's worked for a little while, then it hasn't worked. Here's how we do that. We say, okay, we don't need to accomplish this all in the first month, right? We're going to look at this as our 12-month goal. And then we're going to say what's accomplishable in each 12-week segment, because that's all we're going to focus on. When people focus on the year, it's too big, it's overwhelming, or you think you have too much time. So I'm going to look at it this way. Average person can lose about 2 pounds per week. Okay. And specifically, if you have 72 pounds to go and you're over 200 plus pounds, which you probably are. So, okay, good. What can we lose? About 2 pounds a week. Okay. That's fair enough. All right. So how much can we lose in a month? About 8 pounds, right? Okay. How much over 3 months, over 12 weeks? About 24 pounds. Okay. So how many 12-week years do I need in order to accomplish my 72-pound weight loss goal? I would need 3, 24, and then another 24 is 48, and then another 24 is 72. Perfect. So now I know that I can accomplish my goal in essentially by September, end of September of this year. So what do I need to do? Worry about all of the months from April to September? No. All I need to focus on now is 24 pounds on January through March. My whole year is only January, February, and March. Does that start to make sense? That's all that you're worried about. Now, do you still want to lose the 72 pounds? Does the rest of the year still exist? Yes, of course. But all you need to do is focus on the first 12 weeks. And that is because if you don't get the first 12 weeks right, doesn't matter what else you have planned, because everything hinges on hitting all of your benchmarks. So now you say, okay, 24 pounds, that's still a lot of weight to lose. I get it. I don't disagree. So let's look at it this way. Now, all you need to focus on is January. In January, you need to lose 8 pounds. Okay, that's definitely doable. I don't think there's too many people out there who don't think they can lose 8 pounds in a month. So now all we need to do is lose 8 pounds in a month 3 times to hit our January through March goal. Now, you might be saying to yourself, no, I need to do that actually for 12, 12, and 12. No, you don't. You're only focused on the first 12 weeks. The second 12 weeks will take care of themselves. And if the second 12 weeks takes care of itself, the third will do the same. That is why we only focus on what's in front of us, because what's in front of us is able to be measured and will get done. So not only are we measuring at the end of the month, we're measuring each week. Now, there'll be highs and lows, but each week you only need to lose now 2 pounds. That's it, right? So now every single week, typically for our clients, we did a Monday and a Friday weigh-in. If you're not comfortable with weigh-ins, I get it. You'll just have to find another way, though, of monitoring yourself. That's it, because it's difficult if you can't measure in some way, shape, or form. All right. So just kind of letting you know what was very successful and is successful in our practice. So Monday and Friday, because sometimes, and I'll be honest with you, that people get the results they want. They're down 2 pounds by Friday, but then their diet goes a little sideways over the weekend and they come back in Monday and they weigh the same. So if you only weighed yourself on Mondays, it would look like that you've never lost any weight. But if you weigh yourself Monday and Fridays, you know that the weekends might be throwing you off. So now you need to say, okay, well, if I'm really focused on this goal and I want to make it happen, I can't do a cheat weekend. I can do a cheat or flex meal Friday night, but not Saturday and Sunday as well. All right. So that's one example. Now, a second example would be, let's say we've got, because I'll talk about the things that I can speak knowledgeably on. You want to transition and become a health coach, right? So you want to move from being a stay-at-home dad or mom or real estate agent, or you're in finance or whatever it is, and you say, I want to become a full-time virtual, so like online health coach helping people all over the world. Fantastic. So what do you need to do? Okay, well, typically you're going to want to get certified through like the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute or another organization. And that's going to take somewhere between 12 weeks to call it 26 weeks, right? So like about 3 to 6 months. After 3 months, you are certified as a health coach and you can begin working with clients. But that next 12 weeks allows you to learn how to read at-home lab tests and really kind of separate yourself and give you a much deeper knowledge base point. Okay, so what would this look like? Well, you could give yourself all of 2025 to become certified as a health coach. But do you need all of 2025? No, you don't need 12 months. You need 6 months. So now you set it up for yourself. You say, month 1, I'm going through the first 4 modules. Month 2, the next 4 through 8. And the next 4 after that, then you are level 1 certified. You are good to go. You've taken your exam. You passed it. Nice. Now you can actually start to work on creating your business over the next 3 months as you're taking level 2. And level 2, you're going to do the same thing. And this time, it isn't as many modules, but you're going to give yourself the full 12 weeks. But you're going to make sure that you're on par for that. So by the end of 6 months, you got your level 1, started to work on setting up your social media presence and maybe a website or maybe your online calendar, whatever it is, starting to work with friends and family and coworkers, other people to get your feet wet. And then you're level 2, and then you hit the ground running after that, right? And then you could have different goals, right? The second half of the year, building your practice. But you can make that happen. So what did it take? It took 2 12-week years. Level 1, first 12 weeks. Level 2, second 12 weeks. Now you have the certifications. And also, in the second 12-week year, you started to work on your practice, your business. All right, 2 different goals. You can come up with the same for health. You can come up with the same for career, although I guess that the second one I gave was a little bit like career-based, right? Come up with the same with the relationships. What would that look like? Here's what I want to share with you. The reason why you don't really want more than one major goal per year, and then I would say secondary goals, you could have 3 or 4 of those, is that you need to allocate time in your schedule. And I've shared this on previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays. So I'd love for you to tune back into those. They're just at stephencabral.com/podcasts. And then just click on the Motivation Mindset Mondays and you can find all the shows right there. So here's what I want to share with you though, is that I've really done this for a while and I've talked with a lot of people. You need about a dedicated half hour per day per goal. That's essentially what it takes at the minimum. And that's because a half hour per day, Monday through Friday, is 2.5 hours of study time on whatever it is that you want to read up on. It is 2.5 hours, so a half hour per day of exercise or of meal prep or whatever it is. But so I don't really get worried about you need to add an extra half hour for meal prep or whatever it is, because most people are eating every single day. So all you're doing is you're not taking more time, you're trading a 1-for-1. At lunch, instead of going out for pizza or a sub or something like that, you're going out for a salad with veggies and a healthy protein on it, right? Like it's like you're not changing time-wise, you're just trading things. So the extra time-wise might be actually the exercise, right? So then that's how we add that half hour. That's important. Do you need more than a half hour a day of exercise? Not in the beginning, definitely not to hit your 72-pound weight loss goal. If you end up loving it and you want to add more, you can. You just have to be diligent with the 30 minutes that you do have. And if you find yourself missing half of your workouts because it's at the end of your day and family things and work things pop up, got to make it the beginning of the day. Right? Like, so that's just the way that it is. You have to just get it done. So you need to schedule that, right? So if I looked at it this way, let's say I was the same individual. This person wants the weight loss. That's their goal, right? And obviously, I'll talk about health in a second. And they want to become a health coach. Okay, you can do both, right? But this person now needs 2 dedicated 30-minute slots per day. So instead, what they're going to do is just say, look, you know what? Instead of watching TV and all those extra things that I like to do at night, I'm going to go to bed at 30 minutes earlier. And I'm going to set my alarm for 30 minutes earlier. So like go to bed at 9:30 instead of 10, wake up at, 5:30 instead of 6, right? So you still get 8 hours. It's just you're opening up a little bit earlier in your day and you're just going to brush your teeth and you're just going to say the first thing I do before anything else, whatever you like to do in the morning, you are going to study or you're going to do that workout. Like that, that's the way that it is. So if you're not a morning person, you're not going to do your exercise then, okay, you just have to make sure that you get it in whenever you're going to get in later in the day. But then that's your 30 minutes of study. And if not, just vice versa, you get a 30-minute workout. And then here's what you're going to do. You are going to spend 30-minute lunch break or instead of watching TV at night, you'll do your 30-minute of study for your health coaching certification. So you can make this happen. But as you can see, you can't add a million goals to your 12-week year. And the reason is, one, you're going to be distracted focus-wise. Like, how many things can you actually focus on per day and do really well? But the second is that you need to start building in then more time blocks. Now, I've got a previous show. I've alluded to it before, but I want to link it up for you here today. So I'll do that at stephencabral.com/3251. stephencabral.com/3251. That's where the big takeaways will be. And also a show on the missing 6 hours per day. People have a little bit more time, not a lot more time, but they've got a little bit more time than they think. And so what I then start to teach in IHP Mastery, which is something we teach at the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, is something called habit stacking and temptation bundling. Meaning that if you are someone that still loves to watch your TV shows and Netflix or your favorite YouTube videos or on social media, fine. But we're going to do that while you're doing incline walking or on a bike or doing some real exercise. Like we're gonna temptation bundle that, right? So like if you want to watch that 30-minute show or even 60-minute show, let's do it while walking. Like that's the thing, right? So we're gonna get that in while moving the body, because moving the body is gonna help lead to that 72-pound weight loss, right? So that's gonna be part of it. Or we can say this, habit stacking is when you're doing something, you can add something onto it as long as it's not too big of an ask. So for example, let's say you make a smoothie in the morning for breakfast and you're trying to get healthier, or let's say you're using MetaVolve as part of your weight loss based system. All right, so you're just going to take your nutritional supplements at the same time you're taking your smoothie, right? So like that's a habit stack. You just add on one easy thing. So what I would say to you is you can actually have a couple more smaller goals. Like health would easily be part of this equation. But if you were to add on something like another one, let's say you wanted to learn Spanish or Italian or whatever it might be. Okay, that is not in alignment with the weight loss or the health coach certification. It's learning something else totally different besides this health certification, and it doesn't lead to weight loss in any way, shape, or form. So you have to ask yourself, is it a high priority? And if it is because you're going on a trip or you met someone and they speak Spanish and you want to learn how to speak Spanish, okay, well, you just need to decide, do you have an extra half hour a day? Like, is that something you can add in? Because you can't just take Spanish for 5 minutes a day. Like you're not going to, most people are not going to sync up with it. Or can you spend half a day then on Saturday? Can you retain it then for a week? Because most people kind of can't retain it. They need to do multiple sessions per week. But you then need to build that in. And so you have to ask yourself, realistically, can I focus on losing the 72 pounds, becoming a certified health coach, starting up my practice, and learn Spanish? You may not need to be, right? I mean, you may not be able to, even realistically, because I want to just save you some of this, headache, is that you may need to just try it for 12 weeks and realize that it's too much. That's what I had to do. I didn't learn that quickly. It probably took years of trying way too many things. What ultimately happened is that I was frustrated that I wasn't making enough progress across all these different areas fast enough. So I would ultimately just keep doing them, and then give up. It just wasn't working, or I'd blame the system or blame whatever. It wasn't the thing. It's just I was just scattered in too many different directions. As the old proverb goes, right? A wolf that chases two rabbits goes hungry. And that is because you need to stay locked on one goal. So one primary goal should be the thing, and you can have one secondary. Now, here's the nice thing. Your weight loss goal, okay, it takes 3 12-week years. Your health coaching certification goal, it takes 2 12-week years. You can look at the back half of the year at adding other and different goals, because you're not going to stop your, just exercising, moving your body for 30 minutes a day. You're not going to stop that. That's just part of your lifestyle. It's part of your routine. But if you don't have that 30 minutes where you need to be studying for certification, it could be added then onto something else. So you can then transfer that if you'd like to. Here's what I've also learned is that the more you get used to doing and achieving, the easier it is for your brain to take on more. It really is. It just doesn't seem as big of a deal or as big of a task. And after you start knocking out some of these bigger goals, you probably don't have any then major goals. There's probably not huge goals that you're going after. It's fine tuning a lot of the other things that you're doing right now, which is simply faster. You still want to use your 12-week year, but many of those things can be accomplished in 12 weeks. And then you're simply building off of them. So it's a great way to look at the year. And I'm telling you right now, if you use this this system, which I love. So it's a whole book written on this by Brian Moran. I also interviewed Brian on this book. It's at stephencabral.com/3251. I'll link up those previous shows, plus the missing 6 hours per day. But what I'll tell you is this, is that your brain actually will get used to setting goals and achieving them. And it's one of the most amazing things that you can do for yourself in your life, because you get to then experience the growth. And when you see yourself growing, you don't get upset sometimes that when you fail or you have a little setback, because you understand it's all part of the learning process. And then when you understand that it's all part of the learning process, you're not as hard on yourself. So you're ultimately just happier moving through life and accomplishing more than most people that you know. And they look at you and say, like, how are you able to get done what you're able to get done? And you just lean back on simple systems that enable you to be successful. So hopefully today's show was helpful. I'm going to link it all up at stephencabral.com/3251. I appreciate you being a part of the Cabral Concept community. Look forward to recording a new Cabral Concept every single day this coming year. Hopefully they're helpful. We would love you to subscribe and review the show if you haven't already. And I'll talk with you tomorrow on a brand new Cabral Concept. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.